the Dandelion Knights. This cast is going to be featuring these two teams who are a part of our Shurima division. And I say, without further ado, let's take a look right into this draft, Monkey.
Let's indeed. And honestly, right off the bat, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing Ashe, B1, and then Jinx Lux as a response to this Ashe. And I'm thinking that TDK really wants a strong bot line presence with Poke, with this Lux, with this Jinx, to be able to stop this Ashe from getting ahead, and then to snowball this Jinx into a forward momentum to be able to carry for the rest of her team.
I
Go ahead.
have to agree. That is having the poke potential from the Jinx and Lux. I mean, what else could you want from a bot lane?
And then we look at B2 and B3, which I'm really on the fence about. So they pick Zac. Great engage onto a Jinx and Lux because there's nothing to stop this Zac from getting into this backline to create space for the Ashe. But then the Cassio is picked. And that's where I'm a little bit confused. Because Jinx and Lux are very long range types of characters, and Cassio is a mid-range mage, so she'll have an extremely hard time to move in. But it seems as though the Dandelion Kings completely ignored this Cass pick and picked 3 short-range characters after that anyway.
So we see it looks like they start sort of going back and forth with their decision making then.
Yes, I that's what I'm seeing here. So then after this Cassio pick, we see the Yone as the counter to Cassio. I'm assuming this is to create an engage for the Dandelion Kings, as maybe the rest of their picks, as like a Trundle and Vladimir, as we see here, don't have as great of an engage. So they do need a sort of engage mid lane here, and the Yone is great for that, and a follow-up with the Vladimir, the poke from behind with Jinx and Lux. So the Yone does fit the Dandelion Kings team comp, but then Soraka is picked with a Shen. It's extremely defensive on the side of the Silverbacks, and I'm a little bit worried for the Dandelion Kings to be able to kind of move up in this game to try to engage onto these carries, or onto the carries of Cassio and Ashe from the peel of the Soraka, the peel of the Shen, and the space created by the Zac with his ultimate, with his E, with his Q. It's going to be a very hard game for the Dandelion Kings to kind of do what they want with so much global pressure that the Silverbacks are bringing to the table.
And I think that global pressure, especially early on, I'm a very strong favor of having Shen, and the amount of map pressure he provides in early game engagements to allow a team to snowball out with early kills and gold leads. The Dandelion Knights are going to have a hard time to fight against that.
And it seems that's exactly what the Silverbacks want to do based on the picks of the Jinx, the Yone, the Vladimir. These are all extremely hard scaling picks. So they want to abuse this Zac Shen combo to be able to get leads into mid lane. Leads, not so much in the top lane, but create an even playing field for the Shen and Vladimir to be able to match later on, but to create leads for this Ashe versus this Jinx Lux, which will be pretty difficult with the Soraka. So I'm going to say this again. I'm very worried for the Silverbacks getting to this late game with the picks they've chosen.
All right. Well, there's no other way to find out whether it pays off for them than to watch this game. So we will jump right into game 1 with the Silverbacks versus the Dandelion Knights. Stay tuned. Hasagi! As we start the game right off, teams rushing out the gates, as some say. Do you expect either team to start off with any sort of hard invade, or or do you expect the standard 5-point spread?
Well, based like both teams, there's not much CC that they offer. So we look like other than maybe the Lux, but that's pretty much it. And then after that Lux bind, they'll just burn flashes, and we see on the minimap they're just setting up the different points to make sure that there is no invade, no cheesy stuff going on. And I'd like to highlight that the bot lane on the side of the Dandelion Knights is running a cleanse heal setup. So they're not planning to win this lane. They want to scale, to create that as their kind of win condition. So I'm very interested in see how, like I mentioned before in the draft, that the Zac, the Shen, can be able to create plays on this bot side to stop this kind of defensive build on the side of the Dandelion Dandelion Knights. And we see both junglers having a bot lane start, get the best leech possible. Well, they'll probably either focus top lane or mid lane as they approach the level 3 mark. Zac is a stronger ganker in the early game, and we'll have to see what he can do with that pressure. Whereas Trundles is trying to farm and take control of objectives. That's pretty much his goal, as Zac has no priority in the 1v1 versus the Trundle. We have this Q that reduces AD on the Zac, his W, the Trundle's W, which increases attack speed. There's so much that the Trundle does.
As we do already see Zac already up, taking his blue buff here in the top lane. Looks like he might even want to try to position himself for an early gank to help get the Shen into an early lead once he finishes clearing in his jungle. Do you think so, Monkey?
Soraka is zoning. So, as of right now, everything is playing out as it should be. And the junglers are going along their paths. I'm curious, though. Zac is doing a 3 buff path to top lane. He is level 3. And I'm guessing he really wants to get this Shen at a point where he can freely ult. And we can see on the minimap, he's moving in now to see what he can do.
The Shen starting the engage already. The Vlad having to get out of there, but the Zac knocked in is going to get the first blood for the Shen. That's really unfortunate there for the Vlad. If he does not start getting his early CS and start getting all of his early kills, then he's not going to be able to compete as much with the Shen. He's already going to burn his teleport to get back to lane. Now he's got no flash and no teleport. As the Shen is now going to go in again. The Zac getting in position. He's going to get the knockup. Is this going to be an immediate secondary kill onto the Zac? In the mid lane, the Cassio does trade back onto the Yone as they're chasing this Vlad back. He's really got to get to his tower and stay safe. Can't afford to give up 2 kills right off the bat. The Trundle now here. Zac missing both players, dodging this. And now, it's the Shen and the Zac on the back foot as they're being chased back by the Vlad Trundle. The Zac has been destroyed and slain by the Vlad. That's exactly what we need to see him to get back into this.
So that could have been very, very bad for the Vladimir. He immediately dies, wastes his flash, then TP's back to lane and could have died again, but there's a ball lane skirmish.
Oh, yeah, it looks like the Jinx at low health. But the Ashe and the Soraka are just not in a position to really fully take advantage and punish that.
So, this Trundle, that could have been detrimental for the Vladimir. He could have just straight up lost the lane right there, where that should be early on a winning lane for him. He should have some sort of pressure, but because the Zac has this power spike at level 3 and his dash range keeps getting longer, he just needs to play passive right now, and that's exactly what the Silverbacks are looking for in this early game, to be able to push ahead with the Shen, with the Cassio, who got a solo kill on the Yone, who made a mistake and pushed too far up and overestimating his damage probably.
We do see now the first Drake going to be a Mountain Drake. Zac claiming the Scuttle Crab. Potentially going to try to set something up down here in the bot lane, maybe a tower dive. before trying to take this Drake. In the top lane, the Trundle is forced to be falling back. He's at low health. He's gonna now heal up by taking these Krugs.
And right now, the Silverbacks are in a prime position to take this dragon. You have Cassio pushing and having lane priority. Ashe and Soraka have been having lane priority, and they're looking for this kill onto the Jinx.
Oh yeah, they're really chasing after this. The Zac setting up. Is he gonna go for it is the question. He really wants this, but the Lux has spotted it. He stepped out of the bush at a very, very narrow angle.
So this is where the Silverbacks need to turn on the dragon. This is a free dragon. You have your jungler on the bot side. You know the Trundle is low and probably have to either take one camp and back or just recall straight up. There's priority everywhere, but it seems that the Zac is just opting towards clearing no camps. He's kind of just hovering near the river, heading to Krugs now. And the Silverbacks ball lane does opt to take a back, though. It seems that they do have the advantage. Ashe should come back here with a BF sword, having it over the Jinx, who seems to be building a Manamune. And Vladimir's fighting up top.
Oh yeah, Vlad's going in after the Shen, forcing the Shen to play safe and get back to the tower. He's now really just sitting up here, denying the Shen all this XP and the chance to CS. Excellent play from the Vlad to try to drag himself back up after his first death.
And Shen opts to stay in lane to try to not get behind in XP, as what's important for the Shen in this game is not so much the farm, as he is a tank. He is building a Tiamat though, so it's a little bit questionable. But he is a tank. He doesn't need that much gold. He'll be used for his ult during this game to, again, peel for the Ashe, peel for the Cassio, or engage with the Zac. So this is a fine trade for him, and he does have Doran Shield, so he will stay healed up. And
exactly.
It looks like
in the mid lane, Cassio trading half of Yone's health, landing the combination of her abilities. Really shredding Eclipse there, and now the Zac's going in, knocking him up airborne. He's trying, but the clone brings him back to his body, and the Cassio is going to get that kill.
Shen wastes his ult there, unfortunately. It was a little bit wary, but it seems that they will do a lane swap with the Shen, with the Cassio. This is some great macro play coming out of the Silverbacks, taking advantage of kind of fail Shen ultimate and pushing in the wave to not lose as much as he could have if he did not just clear that wave and just head back top lane into the Vlad. That's pushing the lane into him.
And now the Trundle is going to go ahead and take this Drake to try to trade back some of this loss that they took from taking 2 deaths. They are going to get this first Mountain Drake without any fight back. The Soraka only barely getting in position to drop that ward at the last second.
Yeah, we saw the Jinx. Oh, there's some trading in the mid lane.
Oh yeah, the Yone is going back. I don't think he's going to get killed before he snaps back to his body. The Cassio's going to be free to either play it safe and get back to the tower. But the Yone is going all in. He's going to really commit to this. But now he's been stunned under tower. And he's going to fall to the killing spree of the Cassio. But that is not good for him, as he's now lost 3 lives to this Cassio.
So, I'd like to point out his rune choice this game. He has Press the Attack, which, in my opinion, is very bad for the lane that he chose. He should have gone either Conquer if he thought he can stay safe enough in lane, or even Fleet Footwork, as Cassio wants to continuously poke out this Yone to make sure he can't farm, because Yone spikes off of items. He needs his boots, which he does have, but he didn't get them fast enough to be able to spike fast enough, and now he wants his Phantom Dancers and his Infinity Edge, but he needed the fleet this game. He definitely did, because he wants to also use the movement speed you get from fleet to be able to kind of close in on this Soraka, close in on this Ashe, and be able to also skip lifesteal items, although the third item in most kind of 80 Bruisers builds these days is Death Dan. There's a very low chance he gets this game as he's super behind already with the 0-3. The Fleet Footwork would have helped him a lot this game.
We do see a fight coming down. Trundle throwing up his pillar, gonna trap that Shen. as the Shen will fall to the combination of the Vlad and the Trundle. The Yone now in the perfect position, but he's been stunned up. And the masterful flash off that Yone to avoid that Zack's knockup. Certainly would have been his death.
Ashe was very aware of that fight and threw her ult in the perfect spot to hit literally anyone. And unfortunately, it hit the Yone. If, by chance, he gets hit by that before going back to his clone, he would have maybe baited the Zack and the Cassio to go to where he was and then go back. But in the end, he just burns his flash. He stays alive. He comes back with a deficit. He does get the kill onto the Shen, I believe. So he's coming back a little bit to try to match.
I do think that the Dandelion Knights are in a dangerous position right now. Their bot lane they had picked and set up to try to scale and stay safe in the long term, but they're behind on farm already. And in the mid lane, it's not looking good for this Yone versus this Cassio either.
Yeah, and we can tell that they really were relying on this Jinx because of her build. We see her building towards a Manamune, which she hasn't even had the tier yet, and it's already 12 minutes in. She has the call, which she should be finishing in 23 CS. I'm just very worried on when they think they can do something, because this kind of Manamune build usually power spikes around the 3rd to the 4th dragon in most games. So that will be very late, and that will allow kind of the Silverbacks to just kind of take control of this early to mid game and probably snowball it with the Cassio, who's already so far ahead, the Ashe, who's already so far ahead, and the Zack, who will probably be making plays around the map to keep them ahead and make sure that the Dandelion Knights cannot come back in this game.
Speaking of dragon, we have the next dragon coming up in a minute. Trundle taking his blue buff, and he's gonna look like he's gonna head towards the dragon pit to start setting up early on and try to make plays here in the mid lane.
Yeah, the Trundle needs to be able to control these early dragons. Oh,
it does look like, oh, the Yone using his clone, the Trundle pillar, knocking up the stopping the Cassio of the knockup, and the shutdown from the Yone gonna get him that 300 gold bounty and bring him a little bit closer to coming back alive.
And this definitely secures the dragon for the Dandelion Knights. There's no more Cassio to control mid lane, so the jungler basically has free reign over the map to go anywhere he wants with Yone, and this will secure this fire dragon. Oh, Zack is coming mid though.
It looks like, and he goes in for the knockup, he knocks up through them, and now they're both forced to run away. The Yone hard engaging. We see Soraka making her way up now. A TP coming down from the side of Vlad. This could be a full-on team fight. Now they're now turning against the Soraka. The Zack diving back in against the Vlad, but the Zack is dangerously low now. The Yone is really chasing after this, and now they're going to turn and shift towards the Dragon Pit. Both the Zack too low to really try to stick this for a team fight. He's got to wait for the rest of his team to get into position first.
That was very well played. We do see the TP though coming in. The Ashe is pressuring the Jinx.
Oh, this is an amazing flank off the side of the Shen. He's gonna get them as he charges in after the Vlad, but Dandelion Knights are gonna get this dragon. The Cassio is gonna get the lives of the Yone and the Trundle. Both the champions that the Dandelion Knights needed to stay alive to deal out the damage and get the kills. As the Rift Herald actually crashed into the mid tower, the Vlad has been caught out by the Zack, and he's been burning and dies from the Cassio.
He should have definitely not W'd there.
And now we do see the Lux getting caught out by the Zack, who was free with the tower at such low health to jump in behind after her.
Yeah, so the whole kind of fight that we just looked at shouldn't have like happened to begin with, because we have the Yone and the Trundle on the tower trying to greed for these plates and not get priority on the dragon.
And now the Trundle's been caught out in the jungle at the red buff. He's getting taunted up and knocked up by the Zack and the Shen combination. He dies to the Shen, and now the Yone, who came up to try to save him, is forced to run away, try to get to the tower to avoid this Cassio killing him. But the way the Vlad now coming up, the Lux actually getting the kill onto that Soraka. Now the Shen, Cassio, and the Zac are forced to retreat and get out of here.
Try to pick up anything to pick up from that loss. Oh,
the Jinx unable to really get enough damage out there as she went in against that Ashe. The Ashe just laying out the damage. Now the Yone caught up in a 2v1. The Shen and the Zac really going hard against that Vlad in the top lane, who tries to get out using his W, but just cannot escape two champions with taunts and knockups.
So now I'm very worried for the Dandelion Knights for this kind of mid-game brawl, as the Cassio currently 7-1, almost at 2 items. That will be her power spike. After that, I'm expecting a Rylai's. We have the Shen almost at his Titanic, which will be a great power spike. We have Zac finished his item, and then we see Ashe, which I'm very happy to see, honestly, because there's been a lot of contention with what's the better, like, kind of starting item, what you need on an Ashe. It's either the Essence Reaver or
the Trundle and the Lux. He started this kill. The Lux beam coming in isn't enough to get the kill, but now the Yone is going in hard. He gets snapped back to his body, however, and now he's forced to run away from the Ashe, who will get the kill onto that Yone. Really unfortunate positioning there, as the side of the Silverbacks knew who they should target in that fight.
And there's just more brawling top lane.
Yeah, the Shen and the Zac are not letting up pressure against this Vlad. They're not giving him a chance to get back into this game. Even though he's got his Hex Tech Proto Belt, they're not giving up pressure. The Trundle falling in the mid lane to the Ashe and the Shen, who ulted down there for that fight. The Lux has to stand at this tower and do nothing. She can't take on 3 champions.
So like I was saying with the Ashe, there's been a lot of contention on which item you should go first, the Bork or the Essence Reaver. And in my opinion, I love the Essence Reaver build because it lets you carry harder. It lets you just get so much more raw damage, and then you take a Lethal Temple for the attack speed. So Ashe is setting up to be the carry for her team, and that's what she needs to be, because she has a Shen to protect her, she has a Soraka to also protect her, and Zac to create space for her to get these free autos in. And it's looking like it's all the way on these Silverbacks right now, unless the only way to come back is honestly on the Vladimir. The Vladimir will make or break this game.
It does look like they're going to collapse on them in the Baron Pit. Zac, however, taking down the Trundle, turning it onto them. The Cassio now is coming up here. This is a complete disaster for the Dandelion Knights as the Yone snaps back into the middle of the Silverbacks. Vlad has to get out of here. He blast cones, the Zac getting knocked in the wrong direction, but now he's in between 2 enemy towers. There's not a lot of chance for him to get out of here as the Soraka now comes up here. They're really going back and forth. This Vlad is doing whatever he can to stay alive and put some damage onto him, but he just can't take on the 2 of them as the Zac will get the kill.
It's so Ashe is trying to turn on the Jinx here.
Oh yeah, Ashe flashing for this, really going for the kill. The ultimate coming off the Ashe just to confirm the kill onto that Jinx. As now the Silverbacks are in a position to really take this dragon for free, as the Dandelion Knights just can't afford to take this fight.
In these team fights that we'll be seeing in the coming, like, Baron fights, the next towers, the next dragons even, there's so much zone pressure from the Dandelion Knights. We have the Miasma from the Cassio. We have
as it does look like the Trundle once again caught out on his own in his jungle and killed before any of his team can come and try to save him.
Yeah, so there's just so much zone pressure from the Zac jumping in, creating space with his ult, the Cassio Miasma.
They will get the shutdown onto the Zac as he jumped in trying to get that Yone, but unfortunately he was turned on by both the Jinx and the Lux.
Yeah, so if they play team fights like that, the Dandelion Knights definitely have a chance.
Oh yeah, now it does look like they're going to go in on the Cassio, who does flash to get out of the Yone's damage range. They're now going to slowly retreat back. as both sides not able to really hard engage into a fight right now.
So the team fights they're looking, the Dandelion Knights are looking for are for this Zac to overextend, and for this Jinx and for this Vlad to kind of have free reign, and this Yone as well, to have free reign to just completely damage the Zac, the front line, without the fear of the Cassio and the Ashe turning onto them and kind of obliterating their health bars, because that's where all their gold is. If we look at total gold, both the Cassio and the Ashe each have 8,600 gold each, where on the side of the Dandelion Knights, the gold is incomparable right now. They're down 2,000 on the mid laner, down 1,000 on the ADC as they start up the Baron.
Yeah, I don't even think the Dandelion Knights knows this is happening. They don't have any wards near this. They might have a guess because none of the other players, none of the side of the Silverback except for the Shen are showing on the map. But Dandelion Knights were all going after the Shen, so they might not have been even paying attention to the rest of the map.
And it's too late. The Baron's gone. It's now almost a 10k gold lead for the side of the Silverbacks, and it's looking like a very difficult game for the Dandelion Knights. But the Jinx did get her runes. She has the Iris Blade for the Zac, for the Cassio, for the Soraka heals, but
Zac got in, gonna get that Jinx. Oh no, a TP is coming in off of the Vlad. A wasted TP there as they saw that and backed off, and now are hard engaging onto the Trundle, who's gonna fall to the Cassio. They're now gonna turn around and go after this Vlad, who's gotta run back and try to clear out whatever minions he can before the Baron buff reapplies them. The Zac missing his hard engage, but it's not gonna matter. There's 4 members of the Silverbacks here as the Vlad runs into the jungle to try to get away. The Zac is chasing him down. The Ashe will get the kill into the Yone as the Cassio gets the kill into the Lux. The Vlad is being chased by this Zac as the Zac will once again try it, but the Vlad will dodge it. All this Vlad is really doing is delaying the inevitable with this Zac, while the rest of the Silverbacks are able to push in with the Baron buff at the bot lane.
So the problem that the Dandelions are facing here is their Jinx is their hard carry. She needs the auto. Yet Shen exists, Zac exists. She can't auto, and she'll just die, and that's pretty much for the side of Dandelions. And it seems that they kind of want to end this game right here and right now.
Yeah, they're really hard committing, trying to take this mid tower to take another inhibitor. The stun onto the Yone, he's gonna fall to the Shen, Ashe, and Cassio combination. The Cassio going down after the Trundle. He didn't stand a chance. He just bled right out. As now they're gonna take this second inhibitor, and it looks like they're either gonna turn and go for this third or start onto these core towers. The Lux ult not doing as much damage as she probably wanted. The Vlad coming on the Hextech Proto Belt isn't able to really hard engage on them either. They don't have enough players to start this team fight. They are committing to these core towers. They're gonna get the first turret going in. The Zac channeling, he launches in, he misses, but now he's split the enemy. He's zoning them in, and it's the Vlad getting caught out once again all the way. The Trundle does shut down the Cassio, but the Zac kills the Vlad yet again.
And the Knights, or the Silverbacks, are trying to take their retreat so they don't lose any more gold than they already have. But the Yone is looking catchy.
Oh, the Yone does get the Soraka as the Shen gets the Trundle, and now the Yone is forced to retreat, who dies to the Zac, and the Lux also falls. The Jinx is the only one up, and the minions are crashing into this turret. I think they're just gonna go try to end this. The Jinx 1v1ing the Zac. We see a TP coming in from the Shen. The Zac is really trying to delay this Jinx, as now they're gonna start the core. And there's nothing this Jinx can do against this Ashe. This Ashe is just melting the core, as we see a victory for the Silverbacks.
Very impressive from the Silverbacks. They took control of the game like they should have, denying this hard scale, and kind of choked the Dandelions out of their win, or out of a potential win rather.
Exactly, extremely decisive there for the side of the Silverbacks. if you
Now,
had to choose somebody off the Silverbacks to have led them to that position to really claim that MVP title, who do you think that would be?
honestly, it was just a very cohesive team. So there's no one that really shined. They all just did their job properly. But I would like to point out the Zach. Although he didn't do anything very flashy, like I just mentioned, he did stop the hardest carry on the Dandelion Knights, the Vladimir, from playing the game. Basically, he constantly ganked him with the Shen, and then the Shen was able to freely roam around the map. And it was just all around a good play from Zach to be able to control the map for the Silverbacks to be able to just push whatever lead they wanted to in the mid to late game. And I'm going to throw it back to you. Who do you think deserved the MVP?
I do agree with you on a lot of points. You know, the Zach really setting up a lot of kills, setting up a lot of zoning for those team fights. There's also an argument to be made for the Cassio, who got such an early lead in the mid lane, shutting down and taking full advantage of that Yone's mistakes. She really put out a lot of damage there throughout the course of the game. I do think the Zach, the player slowed, really does deserve the MVP, however, for not only helping shut down that Vlad early on, but in those team fights, constantly proving that he was willing to take the risk of jumping in behind towers, jumping into the heart of the enemy to let his teammates get those kills.
And then I want to bring into the Dandelion Knights, and I think not only the jungler on the Silverbacks is the best on his team, but the jungler for the Dandelion Knights was kind of the ace of this game, because we saw early game Trundle had complete control, just like his champion should have. He had complete control of the game. He had control of the rivers over the Zach, was able to secure both the first two dragons and kind of try to help propel his team forward to this late game build that they were relying on, but unfortunately did not happen, as there's a lot of unfortunate events with the different lanes and whatnot.
Exactly, I have to agree with you there. Trundle by Node Aggro really getting up there. He helped try to get the Vlad back into it with that early comeback when the Vlad almost died after TPing, getting in there, not only saving him but turning it against the Shen and the Zach. He also had a lot of key pillar pull-ups, cutting off a lot of the enemy when they were in these 2v2s and 3v2s, helping get those individual kills here and there outside of the team fights that gave them that map pressure early on. And now, after such a stunning victory, I really can't wait to see how Game 2 turns out. And we'll have to take a quick break before we see that.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Silverbacks versus the Dandelion Knights. After first, such a decisive victory for the Silverbacks, what would you like to see the Dandelion Knights do differently, Monkey?
Honestly, they have to play this mid lane. It seems, or mid lane or bot lane, really, because their top laner and their jungler seem like they're supporting the Silverbacks. That was like kind of their support. So if they can either shut down their mid laner or their bot laner to prevent like one of the two carries at least, that'll help propel the Dandelion Knights to get forward into the game and have a chance when it hits these mid game fights, these late game fights.
All right, and with that being said, let's go right into the draft and see what these teams do differently.
And right off the bat, we have B1 Ashe followed by a R1, R2 Misfortune Nidalee. So I really like this answer from the Silverbacks. Misfortune is a known counter to Ashe, I believe, and then pairing it up with a heavy AP jungler like Nidalee is very, very good for them, but also could be their downfall. As when you pick a Nidalee, usually you want the rest of the map to be heavy AD, which now kind of opens the Dandelion's Knight's eyes to the potential other lanes to be heavy ADs like Lucian is currently in meta, and other top laners like maybe even Jace. So I'm a little bit worried on that R2 Nidalee, but it is answered back with a B1 or B2, B3 Lee Sin Orianna, which is also a very good jungle mid synergy.
Exactly, Orianna there, if they can really play this right and get that Orianna into a good position and get that early lead and start to snowball, I'd like to see that Orianna carry this Dandelion Knights team alongside this Ashe.
And then now, if we go to R3, which is a Zed, this is now where my worry is. Nidalee needs to get ahead early. So does Lee Sin. So it's kind of a battle of these early game junglers to kind of stay ahead and push forward. And then you have the Orianna, which is just a solid round pick that was picked first. And then Zed was the answer to the Orianna. Either the Zed player is disrespecting the Orianna or thinks he's better than this Orianna player, because Zed should lose this lane. And looking at like the comp that the Zed is flying around, he shouldn't be like the main source of damage. It should be on the Misfortune, and it might kind of distract from the rest, like with the Nidalee Misfortune. So you're just having another hard carry in the team comp. It's like it kind of creates some problems. But then we have the rest of the draft after the next two bans is Lucian Urgot for the Dandelion Knights, and then Leona Gnar for the Silverbacks. And team comp wise, I'm honestly a big fan of the Silverbacks. So these first three picks don't work in like kind of a unison together. But when you pair with a Leona, who's a crazy support that can just tank everything with her W, and the Gnar, which is great engage with his ultimate, versus another carry on the Lucian, and then another carry on the Urgot, like a kind of bruiser to split push. It's Silverbacks looks like they have like a completely better team fighting comps, which a lot of these games kind of boil down to team fight, where the Dandelion Knights seem to want to kind of side lane a little bit more. And then I don't even want to talk about the Ashe support here. That's just worrisome.
I honestly thought it would have been an Ashe down there as the AD carry. This Lucian here is throwing me for a loop. I've never seen a bot lane quite like this.
Neither have I, and I'm very, very interested how this turns out. So let's just jump right into the game to see how this will unfold.
Hasagi!
Military talent. They're a misfortunate.
And we're in game, and it is the Ashe support, which I was worried about. But you know, worry, whatever. I'm gonna see how this plays out. She goes for the Spectral Sickle first, which does grant her better poke. That's the item you go on Senna. But I don't like the Hail of Blades on her. In this game, there should be no point where she should need to auto attack 3 times. She either should have gone Airy, should have gone Comet, something to poke, because that's why you pick Ashe support. It like, from my limited experience. And
it does look like they want to try to go in on an Orianna, getting a spear off just for the little bit of disrespect.
They are, so this confirms and the Zed through the lane. Now it's even. So the Orianna should be able to kind of keep it even now. I'm not sure what this Lee Sin wants to do. It looks like he will W over the wall to steal the red buff away from the Nidalee, putting her behind. But it's just kind of a normal game, other than this Lee Sin invade, other than these pokes early. And heading into the late game, I'm seeing the Silverbacks coming out with some sort of lead because of their team comp right now.
I like it when I see this, that the bot laners for the Dandelion Knights hid the fact that Lee Sin was not in the bot lane. Choosing to pass up on some of this early damage onto the minions to hide the position of their jungler could be very key early on.
So, I think we were just shown the power of Ashe support. It's this early poke. Her Hail of Blades is to try to get the support low to not allow her to engage. They do get the level 2 because of the double range bot lane, and they are putting the pressure on this Leo Misfortune, but I think if they have to get ahead here, they have to get some kills, they have to pull this Lee Sin, who will scale off if he doesn't. He will scale off inevitably, but he needs to help this bot lane get ahead because it is a Lucian as well. He's an early game champion. The only kind of safety net that they do have is...
As you see the Leona already going in, totally willing to risk it all to try to take down this Ashe, bringing her down to half health. This is what I'm also afraid of. Leona being such a tanky champion, if they're not ahead and they're not staying ahead, this Leona is free to just launch these spears and go in and CC. And fully prevent what they want to do down here in the bot lane. Both sides trading.
1-for-1 in favor of, I'm gonna say, the Dandelion. Oh, we have the Nidalee and Riven, or Nidalee and Lee Sin fighting in the jungle.
Yeah.
Kind of payback.
Looks like, oh, and now we do see the Zed coming in as well. Same thing with this Orianna. Oh man, the Lee is not gonna get out of here. But the combination of the Orianna and this Lucian are gonna take down the Nidalee in response. This Zed is gotta get out of here now. He is being chased out of the jungle, and he is gonna get out of there. The Ashe support coming up there. Now, gonna head back to lane with her AD carry.
So, I was about to say that that trade was definitely in favor of the Silverbacks, but now that the Lucian comes back to lane with double buffs, with an extra kill, it looks like it's more in favor. And now that the wave is slow pushing into the Lucian, he'll have complete control over this lane. Ashe abusing her kind of range to poke out both the Misfortune, both the Leo, to kind of force them into an awkward position as Nidalee's topside.
Yeah, Nidalee missed the spear onto the Urgot, but Gnar's not going to miss that boomerang. However, it will force the Urgot back, however. He just can't tango with both a Nidalee and a Gnar right now. He's at half health. As the Gnar is now free to just CS up there in the top lane and really get ahead.
Yeah, so it seems, though, that the Lucian and the Ashe did not let the wave push into them. So now it forces the Lucian and the Ashe in a very awkward spot. Although they did see the Nidalee topside, so they are safe from any ganks, they can potentially get a dive off with the Lee, who is in the bottom side jungle of red side, and the Nidalee is matching him on the other side of the map in the bottom side, or the top side blue jungle. And I'm just looking to see if this Lee will gank, because even though it is a full health Misfortune, full health Leo, I can see this working out. But they opt out of it and trying to keep lane normal.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the wave being completely cleared, both the Leona and the Misfortune playing it safe, hanging out near the tower. The Lee Sin just not willing to risk a tower dive right now.
Which is fair. He seems to have complete control of the bot side river, so they can look for this early dragon. It just spawned 1 minute ago. It is an earth dragon. So it is helpful to prevent burst, because this is what the Silverbacks are bringing to the table. They have Misfortune burst. They have Leo, who, with her passive, encourages burst. We have the Nidalee, who wants to burst. We have the Zed, who wants to burst. And
Nidalee landing her spear, jumping right onto the Urgot. Went out to clear a ward. Might not have been the best idea right now when Nidalee's topside, as the Gnar is just going after this with the Nidalee. He's not gonna get out of there. The Gnar getting the kill is gonna bring him back to even and let him CS to get ahead.
Now this Orianna's in a very bad spot. She has to push in her wave, getting poked. It's looking detrimental for the Dandelion Knights. They have what should be a losing lane for Zed in the favor of him. With the lane pushing him, he's ahead of 15 CS now. And we also have the bot lane, the Misfortune, who's ahead, who should not be ahead, with the Ashe poke, with the Lucian kind of early aggression, is still ahead by a smaller margin than the Zed, but ahead nonetheless. And now the Gnar has a kill over his laner and still knows that the flash is down. And then the Lee Sin is also behind. This is kind of worrisome. We'll just have to wait for mid-game.
That this risky pick in the bot lane for the Dandelion Knights, they're just not taking full advantage of it. They're not using the range of both characters.
Did you see that?
Oh. What happened? What did I miss?
The Zed just solo killed the Orianna out of nowhere. No ult, no flash. Orianna couldn't even react.
That is quite unfortunate, as now the Zed looks like they might want to try to take this they either setting up for a die. They are actually really trying to chase down this Ashe and Lucian, who have fallen back quite far to recall. They're now going to instead turn and focus down this dragon without anybody to contest them. In the top lane, Gnar going hard against the Urgot once again. He's angry and he's big, and he is gonna get this kill.
And it's kind of, the Gnar was respecting the Urgot ult, but the Urgot overestimating his damage and just kind of flopping over in front of Gnar. And now they have priority in all three lanes. Zed is ahead of the Orianna. The Orianna whiffs her ult.
Oh, and now the Zed's going in. The Nidalee is here as well. The Zed gets the kill on the Orianna with the help of the Nidalee. Once again, more kills to these laners that are going to become so crucial for the Silverbacks.
And now they pretty much have complete control of the map. They have, other than bot lane where it's pretty much even, Heralds should be free. Top side invades should be free, with the Zed pushing in his wave versus the Orianna, who shouldn't be able to step up now with the Zed finishing his Duskblade. There's not much that they can do top side. So now what the Lee Sin has to do here is help the bot side as they go on the Lee.
Except he's been chased down by the combination of the Nidalee and the Gnar. He's not going to get his chance to get out of there. Really overstepping and not respecting the fact that the Silverbacks have complete control of a lot of the map right now.
And are just like really ahead on their builds compared to their laners.
As now the Nidalee also going to come in and help for another kill on the Urgot. Gnar is angry and he's flashing. He really wants this kill. And he's gonna get it. Except Nidalee will get the final blow.
So it's just the builds. At this point, the Dandelion Knights need to acknowledge that they're behind and try to give up some objectives and kind of control on the map, because they don't really need to control the map. They don't need to try to push advantages because they don't have any. They don't need to force anything they don't need to. And the Zed's going in again.
Oh, yep. Looks like he's gonna try to get this, but the combination of the tower brings him low, but it's not enough, as he will get that kill onto the Orianna. And it looks like he's gonna get out, as the Leona is now here to back him. The Lee Sin is now the one who has to run around. The teleport coming down from the Gnar. The Lee Sin is in danger, and he will die under tower.
To the Leo Ignite. This is premium support play. Like roaming around the map, creating plays, and enabling the laner to kind of just take over the game. It's incredible.
Honestly, the Dandelion Knights need to cut their loss. They need to realize that they can't step up. They have to pull back and hold what zones control. Like right now, we have this Urgot pushing this wave, when the fact that he has no vision on this river and he has no mid lane map pressure, if that Gnar wanted to, he could have gone in with that jungler. Instead, the jungler now going to go shut down the mid laner again. The Orianna is dying to this spear.
It's a great, like, phenomenal macro play from the Silverbacks to be able to just know where to be at what time as they engage on the Misfortune.
Oh, yep. They're really going to go in on this Misfortune. The flash coming down, but the Leona stun! Can the Leona get this? The Leona's going hard, but she's going to have to get out of there. She just doesn't have the damage. She used her ult already. She's stunning, but she's going to fall down and get shut down. But has she done enough damage for this Nidalee to come in and clean up? She'll get the Rampage onto the Ashe, and now she's turning on the Lucian. As the Lee Sin's here to save it, but so is the Zed! As we see, the Lucian will get away. They've turned instead onto the Lee Sin. The Zed will get the Rampage onto the Lee Sin, and both the Nidalee and Zed will walk away. Lucian is going to have to try to recall, but he's spotted that the Zed's going to get him, and the Zed will get the kill. He's now unstoppable.
Flaunting off his mastery. He knows when he's good, and he's going to show that off.
As in the top lane now, the Gnar, once again, hard engaging onto this Urgot. He's not afraid of this tower. He's not afraid of the spinning wave. He's going to go big. He's going to go angry. And now he's gotten another kill, bringing this Urgot further and further behind.
I'm not sure what this Orianna's doing.
Yeah, it looks like she stepped out, and now the Lee Sin, or the Ashe, is getting caught out in the stun while the Lee Sin's engaging with the Gnar in the top lane. Orianna finally gets the back as the Lee Sin is now himself getting pushed against by this Gnar, who is not afraid to take this fight. But without his minion wave and with suppressing against the tower, he knows better and backs off, playing it safe and cautious, not willing to overcommit.
It seems as all the laners are trying to create plays. All of the Dandelion Knights want to try to create plays on their own to kind of be the hero for their team, and it is not working out.
Yeah, the Ashe and the Lucian. Oh, the Lucian got hit by the spear, and the Nidalee charged in, gets the kill. The Zed claiming that Ashe. The Urgot's down here. As
again, with the hero
wants
play.
to try to make this hero play, but he's on his own, 1v3ing now. This is not what Urgot should be doing. They need to cut their loss. They've lost this tower. You need to get pressure, and you need to get CS elsewhere. This is an overabundant risk of a life that has already been shut down too many times.
Yeah, so this hero play style is honestly what's... as it's just constant fighting.
They do get the shutdown onto the Nidalee, the Lucian getting the gold for that. That's a little bit crucial, but it might be too little too late, as at this point now the Gnar, the Zed, and the Leona are going to take out this Orianna, who is in the mid lane alone. They're now free to take this mid lane tower, as the Ashe is on her own, making her way up through the jungle.
Yeah, so the plays that the Dandelion Knights on that kill for Nidalee, is what they need to be looking for. These coordinated plays on catching out these opponents who know they're strong and are trying to force that lead into different areas of the map. But when when they try to do these solo plays with, previously you had the Orianna trying to 1v1 the Misfortune with the support missing on the map, and then surprise, there's the support. It's very like worrisome for how they might come back in this game. But it feels as if they think they are ahead by 5k gold and are able to kind of show up in front of the Silverbacks and do what they please.
Yeah, it's unfortunately a very important skill in League of Legends to know when you're behind and when you need to stop simply giving into the urge to try to get ahead. You need to play it a lot more safe, as the Ashe has been killed by the Nidalee again. They're really chasing him through the jungle now. This Urgot, this Orianna, the Orianna has been speared and flashed. The Zed,
this could be good,
going in, getting the Orianna, but the Orianna got the kill on the Nidalee. And now, the Misfortune gets the kill onto the Lee Sin. The Gnar going in, ulting, knocking that Lucian back into the Zed. The Urgot's been stunned by the Leona. He is going to fall to the Misfortune. All but the Ashe, as the Ashe has just respawned. The Silverbacks have so much map pressure and almost full control right now.
That was extremely close for the Dandelion Knights. That was a fight that they could have won if played kind of more to the strengths of what their team comp offers, which is poke. Oh
yeah, the Zed being a little cocky out there. He does get the kill onto the Orianna, but now he's being chased back. However, the Ashe falls. The Misfortune and this Gnar are in the base still, fighting off this Urgot, fighting off this Lucian. They're really dealing a lot of damage. This Lucian and this Urgot have been brought down so low. The flash to try to get the kill. Oh, the Gnar gets the kill onto the Urgot. He chases down and gets the kill onto the Lucian. They're free now to take this middle inhibitor, while they're taking a Rift Herald at the same time.
Now, it's Silverbacks. It's all Silverbacks this game. They are leading this game, and it's honestly up to what they want to do. Do they want to take towers? Do they want to invest into this next dragon, which is a water dragon? Or do they just want to say screw it and run it down mid with these super minions and take over the game and just win straight up? We'll just have to see as that goes in.
Yep, Zed once more 1v1ing this Orianna extremely well. He's thus far been unanswered this game, showing the confidence in his pick and showing potentially a mistake on the side of the Silverback, on the side of the Dandelion Knights, to let him get such a pick.
It seems as so he's ahead. The Gnar has a perfect KD as well. As they're looking for the Nidalee. Flashes.
Oh yeah, the Lucian going in after this Nidalee. The Gnar really trying to get out of here. This Lee Sin, is he going to get him? He goes over the wall. The Lee Sin kicking the ward to get over there. As the Nidalee now distracting this Lee Sin. The Boomerang going in. They're turning and they're going to get that Lee Sin as the Zed and the Leona chase after this Ashe. They get the kill.
So now either they have the Herald. They have a lot of damage to get these turrets. Leona has Demolish. They can just honestly spawn in Shelly here and just destroy the rest of the base. It's pretty much over at this point, unless we see the Orianna come in with the great shockwave. We have the Lee Sin coming with the great kick. Yet I kind of doubt it.
I think the Orianna is honestly a little bit too far behind at this point. She's been shut down at every opportunity by this Zed. The Zed once more going after it against the Lee Sin. One of the core turrets is down. The Rift Herald getting another charge. No, he's not going to be able, but the Urgot will fall. Two members on the side of the Dandelion Knights are down, as the second turret is now down. Minion waves crashing hard against this core. At this point, they're just trying to get kills. They're trying to stop this, but the Gnar is godlike. Gonna kill that Ashe as the core falls. Two players on the side of the Silverbacks with perfect KDs.
impressive game. That ended with a 20,000 gold lead onto the Silverbacks. That was pretty much the definition of the stomp. And with the stomp, there's always the MVP. So who do you think deserves this MVP title, Willis?
I mean, honestly, I just have to give it to this Zed. This Zed, throughout the entire game, was making plays not only against this Orianna, and yeah, he might have been a little aggressive, might have been cocky at some points, but he definitely showed his skill with this champion, getting out of there every single time with kills, putting more on the board for his team.
He really showed why next time you face this team, you need to ban Zed.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot let a player like this get a champion that he's that good with.
Honestly, that's my pick as well. He's definitely the MVP. He did everything right this game. He played the lane properly, he roamed properly, the macro with his teammates, and then converting that into solo kills, converting that into roaming down to the bot lane to kill, playing with his jungler to kill the Lee Sin. It's just an all-around great game from the Zed to abuse this pick in picking up kills on the enemy team. And then the difficult question that I'm having trouble thinking of, honestly, is who's the ace?
That is a pretty difficult question. I mean, unfortunately, across the board, a lot of the players on the side of the Dandelion Knights were just shut down and were controlled from the start of the game. The Urgot, the Orianna, both of them were practically just in shutdown after shutdown, being kept from playing League of Legends. I might honestly just have to lean into giving it to Eclipse, the Lucian player.
I'm leaning towards the bot side as well, but I want to give it to the Ashe, actually, rather. Which is interesting because it's Ashe support to begin with. Because she, although it seemed as though they were starting to play a little bit tilted in the end game, the Ashe early game played her role perfectly, poking out both the Misfortune and Leona, creating space for the Lucian to try to kind of create picks, using her ult at the appropriate time to be able to kind of help the Lucian, help the Lee, help the Orianna get the plays they need to. I think she played as well as she could, honestly, in this game.
Yeah, exactly, you know, for being an Ashe support, something I've never expected to see. She did her best, and many times, you know, early on it did look like they were controlling their lane. You know, they were pushed up, they were taking fights, they were doing trades and putting some damage onto their opponents in the bot lane.
And at the end of the day, it's just kind of sad to see how the game unfolded with the Ashe support, because I had high hopes. I had high hopes that this was going to do well, to create these cross-map Ashe ults to kind of just deny and hope, and it unfortunately didn't unfold like that, but in lane it did do well, and that's kudos. It's given where it is deserved.
And with that, those have been all our games this evening. Congratulations, a well-earned congratulations to the Silverbacks for 2 decisive victories against the Dandelion Knights, who, although they tried, they put up as much of a fight as they could. The Silverbacks were unrelenting in their drive for victory. I have been your play-by-play caster, Willis, King of Games, with my
and I've been your color caster, Monkey, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Hopefully you join us tomorrow for yet more games in the Casual Esports Amateur League. Have a wonderful night, everybody.